I don't know, y'all. You did all that for one body. What's up, guys? All about and here we are to finally do a review for Black Clover chapter 369. And golly, it's been a long 4 months. It'll be another long 4 months before chapter 370. But luckily enough, Tabata was up in the kitchen, wrist whipping as he was recovering. And I hope he takes all the time he needs to recover well. Obviously, I understand why a lot of people are still unhappy with the new schedule for Black Clover. I'm just happy it ain't canceled. I'm happy we're gonna get it finished. I'm happy we do have a set schedule. As a Hunter x Hunter fan, I will take the fact that the manga is able to come out on any sort of consistent basis and not every celestial period. So with that being the case, let's not waste any more time and let's hop right into it. Ending me. Ready? 3, 2, 1, go. What's up, guys? I got the pencil here, and a fun fact, I do happen to have it on me and keep it on me at all times. And then another fun fact, man, Tabata, man, I know he's definitely recovering, and this chapter is a bit shorter than I expected for like 4 months in between. I was expecting at least like maybe like even monthly manga though, they're like about 40 something chapters, or 40 something pages, not 40 something chapters, but like I'd say they're about like 40, 45, maybe pushing 50 chapters. I was low-key hoping for something like that, but even still short and sweet, and I think that works out because Tabata just clearly hasn't sacked the artistic quality at all. I'm assuming maybe as a compromise they'll probably do color pages for every single one of these, considering like, man, these just look scrumptious for one, and two, once again, 4 months. I mean, especially if they're going to be about like 28, 30 pages like this one appears to be, I'm assuming we're probably going to get something more unique with each and every one of them, and we're probably going to go in a piecemeal fashion. I have a certain idea on how these chapters are going to go now, but of course, I do not know for certain. And hold on, before I get too far into it, let me make sure I look up a little something that I meant to look up in between. Because during the live reaction, there's a certain character that appeared that I did not know the name of. And I told myself that I was going to look it up. But luckily enough, I do happen to have the Googler on me. And I keep the Googler on me at every single instantaneous moment in this beautiful light thing we call existence. But if you would want to happen to check out the live reaction, you can become a patron for as low as $1 a month, or become a member for as low as $3 a month to get that and many other different perks. But with that being the case, I now have access to what I needed, and I can now confidently say, there we go. I know it was a G, but let's actually hop into the chapter itself. So we both get to see the, well, I guess more than both, because like this guy, these two. So it's like we all get to see Asta and Yuno declare, "I'll take Lucius out and become the Wizard King." And considering he's the Wizard Emperor, y'all, I think you're kind of trying to fight the wrong guy here, Bucko. I think you do need to fight someone better. But with this being the case, this is exactly where we left off in 368, and it's good to see a follow-up here. The one person I'm worried about is this fellow right here, but we'll get to that in a second. But like I said, Tabata, man, if I had to think, Hori's still clearly a better artist. Don't get me wrong. I'm not even gonna pretend that I could say otherwise. I'd say Suzuki Sensei, both Nakaba and the Sakamoto Days mangaka, I'd say they are better overall with like kinesthetics and like motion. I'd say Gege's overall better action mangaka. Like I'm not even gonna hear my little boy front on that one. But like Black Clover, it feels like this happy mix and medium between all of it. Like it has really fantastic artistic quality. It has good kinesthetic motion, which we'll see later on in this chapter. It has good character designs. It has almost everything. It's not to the level like where I say Sakamoto Days specializes in fluidity and action. It's unbeatable. When I talk about Horikoshi and My Hero Academia, I'm talking solely about sheer artistic quality. Like, don't know how the man does it. Man's a demon. When it comes to a balance between Gege's fluid action and Sakamoto Days fluid action, along with the sheer artistic quality, I go to Nakaba Suzuki and Four Nights of the Apocalypse. When I go to anything else, I think of Black Clover. It has all those aspects, and you kind of just threw them all in a melting pot, stir them all together. That's Tabata with his gorgeous art style. And the thing is, right, I want to say his art style is simple, but darn, for some reason it's hard for me to draw. Like, I wouldn't even say his art style is as complex as, like, Seven Deadly Sins or Four Nights, but man, it is just still such a complicated enough art style for me that it confuses me every single time I go to draw it. But with that being the case, one color page to another. Golly, this is gorgeous. Let's spotlight everybody who happens to be here. We got Morris in his angel form. Interesting. I kind of was expecting them to not be like this color, but no, they are just all like this off-white, and I actually do kind of like it. I like the red glasses on Morris. I like the flowing cloak. I like the purple soaking in beneath his robes. I like Magna here. Magna looking fantastic, but you can tell this kind of already takes place post this chapter, considering what he's looking like. Luck also seems to kind of be post this chapter, just based on the damage he has here. But once again, the coloring is fantastic. Lucius being the centerpiece of it all, with Asta and as the beautiful parallels here. Fantastic. I do kind of wish he, like, I guess you do have the green fading in here. I like how both of these two are mid-transformation, right? And like how their non-transform sides parallel each other just as their transform sides do. I like that detail a lot. Obviously, my boy looking scrumdiddlyumptious, my boy Nacht over here, mirrored. Ironically enough, mirrored in the low end. Because you have Yami up here, who looks fantastic as always. You have, I was about to call her Mimosa. That's not her name. Is it her name? Wait, is Mimosa her name? Hold on. Wait a minute. Is her name Mimosa and I am just genuinely losing my good mind? Black Clover. It is Mimosa. I don't know why I thought her name, like, Mimosa registered for me, but I was thinking of something completely different when I thought about Mimosa. I love Asier down here. Once again, the parallels here are so interesting because you have Asier, the mother, down here in the bottom right, and then you have her daughter, Noelle, up here in the upper left. You have, you have Nacht down here in the lower right, and then you have his brother, Morgan, here in the upper left, or lower left, or middle left, I'd say. And then you have, this one actually makes sense though, these two are opposing each other. It's Morris, who last we saw fighting Merleona and Fugelion, and then you have Merleona right here. So these two opposing each other make sense, but like the staggering's kind of strange here. Though I do like little details in this color page, like the appearance of who I think he's gonna be important. He's gonna be more important. Meli. He's something. I don't trust him fully. I don't think he's gonna be like a twist endgame antagonist, but he's gonna do something. I feel like he's cooking. It's why Tabana like shoved him over in the corner of the color page. Meli over here, he's gonna be cooking something. I like the spotlight of William right here, the parallel who Yuno's fighting for, just like how indirectly, in a sense, both Asta and Lieb are fighting for Asta's mom, who they don't know is Asta's mom, but I feel like should be pretty obvious. Ichika, once again, perfectly paralleling Yami here. This is just a very, very good color page. It spotlights a whole bunch of characters. Like, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. 18 whole characters for one color page. Beautiful. I'm not sure how he's going to follow this one up, because this one is fantastic. But enough glaze in the color page, enough glaze in the art. Let's actually hop into the chapter itself. We see on page 369 of the Black Clover, we see Asta and Yuno charge in, and Asta declares, "I guess it's 2-on-2, huh?" So he's ready to he's ready to get down and dirty with it. Though admittedly, I think he may have to end up putting the war on his back a little bit, on some Naruto type beat, on some spoilers type beat. Like, I think he has to do it. Mainly because, look at Yuno, bro. Remember, Yuno isn't just boxing with people, and has been boxing with people all day, but he's also maintaining that gigantic Neverland spell. I mean, only Sylpha's helping him do that, but not only is he maintaining that, he struggled massively to beat one clone, and on top of that, he's already expending a whole bunch of energy that's taking a whole bunch of damage. He's doing the most right now, and that's great. Don't get me wrong. I think it's fantastic that he's doing the most, but like, that's a lot. That's a lot of stuff to be doing all on your own, and you now need to fight. What we find out is not just 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6, not 7, not 8, not 9, but like 10 whole Lucius clones alongside Asta. Let's say they split it up, at least 5 Lucius clones they should take on his own. That's not a clean or easy situation. So, I'm very worried for my boy. He may need another magic awakening or something, or some sort of full heal from Mimosa, something. Because right now, I can smell the tragedy. It is like knocking on the door. That's how deep the tragedy feels embedded into me. I am genuinely worried for this man right here. Sure, he's grinning, he's smiling, but unlike Asta, who came in completely fresh with no battle or no like external maintenance, and we find out he does give external help, but that's not from him, or at least it doesn't drain him like Yuno does. I'm worried about my boy Yuno, especially considering what is immediately revealed that Lucius declares, "Oh." You poor, foolish child. What a beautiful time and a beautiful thing to do. Making assumptions. For no, this is no 2-on-2. It's 4-on-2. And we see two more Luciuses come out the cut and immediately elbow them. But to both of their credits, they both react and shield pretty appropriately. Like, the other Lucius doesn't even, like, it bounces off, Yuno's shield here, and Asta just kind of, like, he blocks it. Seemingly enough with, I can't tell, almost with his elbow. So they were both caught off guard yet prepared, which I do like. They are in a heavy, intense battle, so them being like ready to react like that goes to show how skilled they are in a fight. And we also see that with this being the case, sure, they're still willing to fight. You see them still grinning, but both of them are sweating. Asta, who's once again done little to nothing here, sweating, and Yuno sweating as they retreat back, because they realize, like, sure, they're strong, they're quite mighty, quite girthy, if you will, but not girthy enough to fight all of that. Like, that's a whole thing. And notably, it's only 4-on-2 right now because other people are alive. It could turn to 10-on-2 just like that. It like, if Black Clover wasn't Black Clover, it probably could go 10-2. Just like that. They're still in extreme danger, because even though they're extremely powerful, they're some of the strongest characters in the series fighting 10 Luciuses, especially if they start to coordinate, right? Like, maybe you could argue they could run a Lucius gauntlet, where they fight Lucius, no recovery, then Lucius again, then Lucius and Lucius and Lucius, but no, they're fighting a 4-on-2. Lucius thinks, okay, alright, you got me, I'll admit, both of you are big enough a threat that I'm not even going to play these games. We're going to jump you, and proceed to immediately jump Yuno and Asta with another copy of himself, which should, for all intents and purposes, out of like making a new body or making a new copy, should have all the same powers as Lucius. So they're still in extreme danger, even if one is mostly immune to magic due to anti-magic, and even this one is the great harmonizer, the incarnation of the human fairy prince given for. I still think they're in a whole bunch of trouble. And we see that Lucius explains, like, hey, yo, broski, like, I'm going to level with you real quick. Dog. I kind of have, like, the whole thing under control. Because nothing at all can really exist to contest me. Because there are several dozen angels, 3 archangels, likely Morris, Asiel, and... Think, pencil, think. Boris, Ossier, and Morgan. Ma'am. Just straight ma'am. That trio is still running around, plus a dozen several dozen. Right? Remember, these angels are, for the most part, immune to all magic. How are you supposed to win? Like it's like I had to pause. Like, I was legit running the calcs real quick, right? Because here's the thing: it doesn't just stop there, right? There are several dozen angels, 3 archangels, but realize they ain't just cooked on that alone. They also have to deal with 11 Luciuses, 11 of them, 11. Remember, Yuno was struggling to beat 1. That's why he got jump scared when another one appeared. 11. plus 3 archangels. Let's be generous. Let's be generous and assume that the miniature angels will be taken care of. Still has a spell going on. Everyone's still amped, and they're random nameless fodder. Ultimately, you introduce random nameless fodder so people can randomly come out and low diff them or fight them to take up time and space if you don't want other characters to interfere with the major battles. Fine. Let's say that every single one, and this is something I do believe in of itself. Unlike the angel thing, but I kind of believe too. But I do 100% believe that one way or another, each character who has a direct connection or role with the respective archangel, except for like Leona, because she doesn't. But with that being the case, I do believe in my heart of hearts that every single one of them is going to. Yeah, they're gonna win. They're gonna win. I mean, their opponents are going to win. Like, I think Noel's gonna beat Asta. I think Nacht's gonna beat Morgan with maybe Yami's help, and the last one's kind of iffy. I mean, I want to have faith in Leona, but like, wouldn't it be so tragic if she got cooked? Like, I know we're not in Ginger Camp, but still, the idea crossed my brain and leapt there. But with that being the case, we see that Lucius is like, "Hey, yo, broski, I'll be real with you. All of that, and I still got the advantage. You can do nothing." Yeah, they're in an all-loss scenario. There's no reason Lucius should lose. Like genuinely speaking, almost. There's another spoiler for another very popular manga going around right now where there's a similar situation in this, but in there I can kind of see losing because of a numbers difference. But here, Lucius has the numbers, he has the raw power, he has the hacks, he has the quality of hacks, he has everything. Everything. Like, literally everything. I'm not sure what else you could give Lucius to help him win. You know what I'm saying? Like, unless you, like, say he has a further transformation or something, I'm not sure how else you could buff him more. That's how much Tabata's gone to make Lucius this powerful of a final antagonist with this potent of an army. So I'm excited to see how he somehow loses this, because he's going to need something. Asta, he's going to need an amp some way. And we see that he openly declares, "I still have the advantage." And for all intents and purposes, he does. And we see Asta just... he's like, "Come outside, we won't jump you. I promise." Even though Lucius is currently the one doing the jumping. And we go a little bit back in time. Presumably not too far back in time. This may have likely been like, who knows, 15 minutes ago in terms of like the real timeline. But we see that naturally the main question here is, whoa, why am I suddenly coated in darkness? And why? Why do I suddenly feel like quoting Billy Zane? And we see everyone coded in their anti-magic. I do like all the different variances of it. I do like how Zora's anti-magic kind of just doesn't too much for him, only adds like a light cloak around his. I like how it kind of, for Magna, just gives him like sharper frills on the ends of his already torn coat, and it gives him a little like a dark flash here. I like how Lux is actually like pretty much non-existent, except for the all-black darkness that now his hands are. I think that's neat. I like the little specks of dark lightning. He's stomping around with them. I'm not sure if they're on his legs, too. Oh, they are on his legs. So his arms and legs get a nice coat of it. The only thing that changes for Vanessa, I kind of wish she got more of an outfit change. But no, primarily the only thing that actually changed for Vanessa is her fate cat. That's about it. Nero / Sekiro, she was already covered in a whole bunch of black, so it makes sense why her design wouldn't change all too much. So I'm interested to see how her magic works with an anti-magic amp. Obviously, Ghosh over here. Gordon. He's the one whose name I can remember. Gordon, he just has the extra black on his cap, which is very, very neat. I like that. And Henry's full head of hair just becomes black. I don't know why that's so funny. Just the whole thing, he just has a whole mane of black hair now. That's just hilarious to me. And Finral and Gray, I can't even tell. What did Gray get? I can't even see, like, I mean, unless like her cloak is now more black than it was before. I can't really tell what changed on Gray. Finral, once again, in a similar vein to Luck, he actually does just have pure black hands. And I think even this like dark hair fleck is now anti-magic in a similar vein to how Magna got the hair fleck. And Ghosh getting the sparking mirror eye, bursting with anti-magic is very, very cool. And Charmy floating on a food cloud of anti-magic is actually kind of funny. Kind of reminds me of I hate to say this, but the Pokemon Therian forms, the incarnate forms for the legendary weather trio from Gen 5. Like, literally, you don't even see her legs or anything, so she kind of just is like Landorus, Tornadus, or Enamorous, or Landorus, Tornadus, Thunderous. She's kind of just like that now, which is pretty funny. And of course, naturally, the question is, what's going on, right? Like, what is literally happening? Because they've never been coded by anti-magic before. And remember, for the most part, just being exposed to anti-magic is super duper dangerous. Like, way back in the beginning of the series, when Julius was first introduced to anti-magic, he picked up one of Asta's swords, and like it immediately started sucking the soul out of him. Not in that way, though kind of in that way, as it was literally draining his magical force from him. So, of course, the natural question is, whoa, what is happening? Why is it coding me? And why does it feel funny? So I can't even blame Magna for having such a shocked response, because I would also have quite a shocked response if this were to suddenly happen to me. But of course, we see that obviously having such a drastic and dramatic reaction across all of them, Ichika naturally asks, are these people okay? In the head? Mentally? Asta, are you sure these people should be your friends? I can't even knock her hustle there. And we see, naturally, since they don't know, Yami never told anybody, Magna's like, well, hold on a second. Who's this? She kind of looks snobby. Which, I don't know. It's just like, admittedly, your boy's not that big himself. I'm only a mighty 3'5". So your boy's not massive. But I've met people smaller than me before. And like, typically, if they come from a certain background, whether, and this isn't like a bad thing, they will just appear a bit more like they're, but technically it's just small and stoic. That combination just leads to more snobbiness. Like, notably, the gentle giant archetype is given to people who are large, like your people who are above 6 foot, and when they're quiet, typically they're just gentle giants. But like, if they're small and tiny, and they just look mean all the time, yeah, they'll come across as snobby. And to be fair, Ichika kind of is, like, I'm not, this isn't even like a bad thing to her, this isn't a negative character trait, but she kind of is just a snobby individual, so I can't blame Magna for making that immediate assumption, like, why is she looking at me like that? And we see that Asta goes on to explain, oh, this is Ichika. She came from the land of the sun to help us out. She's the Captain Yami's little sister. I don't know how he just drops that. Like, wouldn't that be, like, I'm not sure. But I guess, yeah, you would kind of just say, like, you can't really build up to it. You kind of just gotta reveal, like, oh yeah, BT Dubs, this is our boss's sister. She also has gains, BT Dubs. She's here to help out. How about that? And I love how Magna, like, he has a second to quantify it. Like, notably, this is something I do too. If I'm told something, typically I'll repeat it to, like, help my brain rationalize it, and then the impact will hit me. So I can't even blame Magna for being like, oh, would you look at that? Mr. Yami's little... Wait! Like the Jimmy Neutron brain blast that immediately has to occur because you're like, wait a minute. Wait a minute. She's who? I can't even blame her for that. I would have the exact same reaction if my boss were to suddenly show up one day and was like, oh, BT Dubs, little sis, respect her now. I'd be like, oh, okay. I mean, I will. Don't get me wrong. Didn't know you had that. You never mentioned her before. So I'm not shocked. Yami definitely seems like the loner archetype, and the fact that he has a whole little sister, especially one that looks completely different from him. Remember, Ichika's a full-grown adult. She is 18. I forget when women stop, like, physically developing. I think men stop physically aging around, like, mid-20s. Like, you can still, like, get taller and beefier, like, get more musculature. Well, you can get more musculature throughout the rest of your life. Just work out. But, like, in terms of, like, actual physical development and, like, getting taller and stuff like that, I think it's around your, like, early 20s, mid-20s. I think women stop aging, like, around 18 to 19. Like, it's just, like, they kind of just peak there. So, obviously, Captain Yami, who's this big, buff, burly, brawler Chad man, and for his little sister to kind of just be this bit, like, she's basically Asta-sized. And don't get me wrong, Asta's built, but like, based on what she's wearing, you couldn't even tell if Ichika's built or not. Like, her hands don't even reach past her cloak. That's how tiny she appears to be. So I can't even blame them for being so shocked. It's on like a dichotomy front. Of course, I've met both types of siblings that look absolutely nothing like each other, and siblings that might as well be carbon copies of each other. Like, I have a friend who is literally just a male version of his sibling. Like straight up, every time I look at her, I see him. And every time I look at him, I see her. They are literally the exact same person, just gender swap. It is. They are not even like twins or anything either. Because like, I get that. You know, if you have a male twin and a female twin, of course they're going to look like each other. No, they're like 5 years apart. But now that they've both hit adulthood, they just look exactly like each other, and it's freaky. So I can understand why the shock of Ichika, who really only, like, at best, some facial structure things, maybe like eye shape. That's about the only thing, or like hair color, obviously. That's about the only thing Yami and Ichika share. So I'm not shocked that Magna and Finral like, what? We see Finral, he tries to walk back his character development real quick. He's like, hang on, Asta. There's no way Mr. Yami's sister could be that cute. And I wanted to reel back. I wanted to reach into the narrative and smack Finral over the head because, like, bro, you're getting married. You have a wife. Stop it. Stop it. And we see that Gordon's like, hey, that's rude, Finral. We just met this fine young lady. You stop objectifying her that very instant you meet her. And stop saying Master Yami or Mr. Yami can't be cute. And of course, we see that Charmy is only concerned about one thing and one thing only. You've come a long way, huh? You better eat this. I'm not sure what she offered him, but I wouldn't eat it. I'd be concerned. Then again, Charmy's food is actually good. Never mind. I'd consume it instantaneously. Though I do wonder, are we gonna see her human form in this arc? Because that's kind of just a thing that happened once, and we have not touched on it since. Like, no one's commented on it. I'm not sure if anyone was there to see it even. Like, the wolf side of her magic, the lamb and the wolf. When was the last time we saw that? I'm not sure. I hope we do get to see it, though. That infused with anti-magic, like, if she just straight up starts, I don't know, on the angels, that would be wild. I actually do kind of want to see that. For Luck, we get Luck a whole bunch this chapter, but I love how Luck is just straight up about the business. He's like, oh, wow, if you're the captain's sister, I bet you're tough. Let's fight later. Of course. Lucky's got one thing on the mind, and it's always about make, throwing them hands. And we see that you have Great now, bro. Just Gosh, stop it. Gosh, I have no idea how to say his name. I need to watch the anime, but I won't. But with that being the case, Gosh is like, Marie's cuter. And like, Gosh, please, find another character trait. Love your woman, gosh darn it. Stop this. But with that being the case, we see that, oh no, oh, I misread this in the live reaction, which you can check out over on Patreon for as low as $1 a month to become a member for as low as $3 a month to check out. I thought this was Finral apologizing to being rude. No, Finral, you have a wife. Stop calling other women cute. Once you have, I don't know. As far as I know, once you have wife privileges, you don't look at other women that way. Bad man. But we see that Magna does apologize. I do like that. He's despite being the rough rabble-houser of the group, he's like, oh, I was rude to you, ma'am. Very sorry. Very, very sorry. Because of course, like, I still get that. Like, if I was accidentally rude to my boss's little sister, I'd be like, whoa, my bad. Okay, my fault. One, because I don't want to get fired. And two, because, it's just wrong. And of course, we see that Nacht is like, all right. Interesting development. I was never told about this, but I won't complain. He has no, like, I can't even tell if he's, like, even slightly smiling here, or if he's just like, or he's like, and Ichika just has no response. I bet she recognizes something, though. Because their, like, Nacht's shadow magic is so similar to their darkness magic that I bet Ichika's like, are you a long-lost relative? I sense the shadow within you. What are you? So I hope these two get a duo fight. Like, I hope, especially considering Yami's currently fighting Morgan, as last I remember at least. I hope these three end up getting a group fight against Morgan. The shadow, the darkness, and the greater darkness against the bright heavenly light. Who's also actually wielding darkness now too. So it'd be a great old dark fiesta. It'd be a Kingdom Hearts battle all over again. And of course, we get to see that Ichika's like, okay, no matter how crazy you all are, let me say this. At this point, Asta simply shared his anti-magic with you. It's intertwined with your own magic properties, making it possible for you to use pseudo-anti-magic, which is essentially just anti-magic properties, aka shutting down other magics, infused with their base magic. One thing I was wondering is, like, how are they going to use their base abilities? Because anti-magic is naturally corrosive to magic, but apparently Asta has mastered it to the point where he can infuse anti-magic with other magic. I hope he gives Yuno this buff. Like, once again, like I mentioned earlier on, Yuno is definitely going to be struggling a bit, so I hope he can, like, lend some anti-magic to Yuno, because that would be a very good buff for him. Since it doesn't seem to have any parasitic effects on their own magic. Jeez, I leaped way too far ahead. But since it doesn't have any parasitic effects on their own native magic and just acts as a natural amp that turns off other magics they come in contact with, Yuno would benefit a lot from this. I think Noelle would benefit a lot from this. Slide this over to Yami, he would benefit a lot from this. But of course, I'm not sure how, well, what Asta calls it would work out. But the fact that it does like work with and not work against their magic is very, very good. It was something I was slightly concerned about when it was revealed that they did get anti-magic amps. I was like, are they going to come up with all new anti-magic abilities? No, they're able to simply fuse, attach anti-magic on as if it were like a separate buff to their base magic. And we see that Asta declares, so we'll call this technique Comrade Demons. Comrade Mons? It's either Comrade Demons or Comrade Mons. No matter what, it just sounds whack. Like you can see every single person here, from Zora to Finral to Ghosh to Gray to Luck to Sekre to Magna to Vanessa, even to her cat. They're all like, I'm sorry, what? And I love, once again, I feel so bad for Lieb. I feel like his character role has been reduced so much. He feels much more like, ever since Lucci fell, he's felt more and more like a loose accessory. Like his arc has finished and he's not even allowed to speak anymore. But he's here. Like, Lieb is always here. Like, you can see. Let me see. Is he visible earlier on? He's obviously infused to Asta here, so that makes sense why he doesn't show up here. But like, you see, he's here. You can't see him here because it's so tiny, but he's also likely there. He's here as well, but he's just mini little demon mad. I kind of hope he gets some sort of character moment. Kind of, hopefully, maybe, please. Please, I'm begging you, Brusky, please. But with that being the case, we see that everyone's like, no, that is undeniably whack. And Luck even verbalizes, well, no, everyone does, lame, which, yeah. Notably, I'm terrible at naming things too. Like, don't get me wrong. But, come on now. I call it like anti-magic armor, or just like anti-magic infusion. That's a big word for Asta. But like something like that, not Comrade Demons. I get the purpose behind it because it's born of demonic energy, which is the black anti-magic, and it's his comrades, but like, come on now, bro. Come on. You couldn't do a little bit better. You couldn't cook just a little bit. You couldn't whip it up in the kitchen just a little bit. Come on now, Asta. But of course, we do get to see that now that they've gotten their juicy little buff, it's time to get to cooking. And we see Luck has immediately leaped into full force as he activates Black Lightning Ultimate Magic, Black Lightning Battle Fiends. And he goes crazy. He goes boom, boom, boom. He's tearing through angels left and right, one tapping them all. I love how he starts from this anti-magic hold on, let me make sure I can calc this instantaneously. Let me see. So editing me doesn't immediately tear me limb from limb the moment he has to edit this. Hold on, let me see. So there. Hold on, actually, let me go further down just a little bit more. Let me judge it. Let me use my amazing inspecting abilities. All right, about there. So let's do this. Editing me, if this doesn't work, come back in the past and fight me now. But with that being the case, I love how Luck leaps off this little anti-magic circle and kind of just like locks on to every single angel and just immediately leaps through them all, destroying every last one of them. And I love the look of absolute glee on his face. Okay. I did a little bit. I did Google a little something, and I have seen a little things. I did see slight spoilers for this chapter. A lot of people are just saying this is a ripoff of State of Six Paths mode. And like, I somewhat see it, but have y'all not heard of the Raijin? Like the Thunder God who just looks like this, like has the 6 drums behind him too. Like, I get why. Like, I can see somewhat of the comparisons. This does look like a Truth Seeker orb to a certain degree because of darkness, but like, not only has Asta had black orbs behind him or around him for a while now, but also this is just clearly a callback to the Raijin in particular. That's not a Naruto exclusive thing. Naruto popularized it the most, but like, I wouldn't say this is a straight Naruto ripoff. In fact, I think the designs are mostly different too. Like, the horns on this one are black, the claws are, once again, he has claws. He actually has a tail, which is something that Naruto does not have in his Stage of Six Paths mode. The bright whiteness compared to the darkness is also contrasted more. And obviously, Luck's base design is just a whole lot different from Naruto's. So I can loosely see why people are saying this is a ripoff, but I don't think so. I think that is kind of just like similar things. Naruto did this first, even though Naruto took this from that. It's kind of like saying that any transformation ever is a Super Saiyan ripoff because they have spiked up hair. I could see it at best as inspiration, not really a like direct ripoff. That's what I'm gonna chalk this up to. That I can understand. I can see loosely, even if I don't agree, why people think, oh, this is just Tabata stealing from Naruto. But I don't think so. I don't think so. There is a moment later that feels Naruto-esque, but once again, I know why they do it in the way they do it. With that being the case, we see that Ichika's like, I'm going to level with you real quick. You need to watch yourselves. Anti-magic is not infinite. The more power your group uses, the less there will be. So essentially, they have very limited pools of anti-magic, which makes sense, right? Remember, Asta doesn't produce anti-magic. He's just immune to it. This is all Leeb. This is all Leeb pumping out endless anti-magic juice for everybody to use. And of course, he can't actually pump out endless juice. So naturally, he's going to have a very limited amount. And it's why I'm kind of concerned how Magna and Luck end up doing it this chapter. Because they do a whole lot. Though Meli Luck does kind of low-key backpack. Because, let me see if I can count how many he takes out. He takes out every single point here is a defeated angel, presumably. So he launches off from here. 1, 2. He launches through 1. Bounces off. Oh, I like the multiple magic circles being his leap off points. That's actually cool too. So launches through. Oh no, he launches from all the way back here. So he hits at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I believe he caps off here with 6. So he takes off 6. So that's half a dozen of the generic angels, and who knows how many more off screen. So bro is already moving. So he does make good use of his anti-magic here, but considering who they need to fight, and how many of who they need to fight, I think ultimately his efforts may have been better served saving a little bit more juice for later. But we see he says, no problem, I'd have to take them all down before I run out, which is true. And I do like how Luck, once he has something that can actually execute these angels, he's not struggling at all. Like, it shows that these angels really aren't the craziest, it's just that they're immune to the main thing that everyone does, which is magic. But once you have someone with anti-magic who has any decent striking power behind him, he's literally just one-shotting them. Like, he dives through a bunch of them here, seemingly with no intent other than to dive through them. And he just kicks one in half here, barely making contact with it. So it goes to show these angels are good because of their hacks, not necessarily because of their offensive potency. They do have all types of magic, and they are pretty powerful still. So I guess Luck really is just that guy. And we see that he dives through. So this is 6. And then 7, he just dives straight through another angel, crushing it into the ground. Man, I still love Tabata's art style. There's something, I'm not sure what I would add to it though, because usually whenever I have like slight critiques, I always say you would just add this to make it better. But no, not really. He has everything here. He has the hair detailing, he has the shadows, he has the perfect eye shape, he has the detail of the clothes, which is loosely transformed. He has the different levels of shading for the anti-magic black. Like, I don't know, it's just good. Like, I don't really have critiques for it. It's just not as good as Horikoshi, because Horikoshi's insane, and it's not as good as the Record Ragnarok mangaka, because the Record Ragnarok mangaka are insane. But, like, even the kinesthetic motion here is fantastic. I can feel the force that Luck is lunging with based on how drastic the explosions and implosions of these angels are. I can tell how much force he's slicing with by the breaking point of the angel as he kicks through it. Like, I can taste the power behind it. So, honestly, he's kind of just cooking. Like, I can't even say Tabata's messing up at all here. He's just cooking. And we see that he's like, hey, broski, it's just going to work out all nice and well. You know what I'm talking about? And we see one of the Luciuses actually does realize, the angels, oh my, the angel's numbers drop so fast. Is he cloaked in anti-magic? You can't tell. Like, presumably that'd be something you could sense, or if you couldn't sense it, then that'd be even more concerning. Like, I can't imagine what it would feel like to feel something opposite to what you're supposed to feel, or like something draining. Like, what would be anti-smell, or like an anti-scent, or like anti-darkness? Like, if you were to, I can't think of a comparison for why I feel like anti-magic should just be instantaneously noticeable. But like, if I were to just take away the light from something, if you saw something that just absorbed light, like that, I think there's like a paint that's like so deep black that it like straight up absorbs light, so you can't even see anything off of it. Like, if that was just there and you tried to look at it, I feel like you would immediately notice it. But instead of looking at it, you're sensing it. And you're sensing that void that naturally comes with that. So I feel like that should be more noticeable, but that may just be, once again, anti-magic's just that weird. It's kind of a transcendental thing that Lieb got blessed or cursed with. But with that being the case, we do get to see that Lucius is like, if they keep cooking my angels, and I actually start to get jumped, this may be an issue. Though I still don't think so. Once again, with 11 Luciuses, it should be no problem. But of course, we see there may not be 11 much longer. As Magna comes in the clutch and goes, yeah, he pitches it like a baseball. He throws a slider straight at Lucius' dome piece. Lucius is like, do you forget who I am? What I am? What my goals are, my origin, my history? Don't worry. If you did, I'm here to remind you. I am him. And Lucius immediately dodges. Now, admittedly, I do kind of think, if I had one art critique, I do kind of think this dodge could be better portrayed because it's so tiny. I can kind of see some motion lines, or I'm not sure if those are motion lines or just the fuzz of his coat. Like, I'm not sure how he dodges this. Like, just based on how it's thrown and, like, the sheer lack of clearly displayed motion, it kind of feels like Lucius didn't move and Magna just whiffed. Which I know is not supposed to be the implication here, because as Magna clearly says, check you out, getting careless, see? Anti-magic homes in on massive magic. So, like, this is clearly meant to imply that Magna didn't whiff here. It's just that Lucius dodged, and now the slider is going to curve around and come hit Lucius in the face. But just, this is just a me thing. Based on how it's drawn here, it just looks like Magna whiffed. Because I can't tell how Lucius moved here. And the thing is, we see Tabata do a fantastic showing of how Lucius dodges later in the chapter. So I'm wondering if there's something missing here, if I'm just reading this wrong, or something along those lines. Of course, we see that the ball of flame anti-magic rotates around, and Lucius is forced to actually interact with it. He goes to stop it with a spell, but the ball's like, you do know what I am, right? And it's anti-magic, and it tears right through it. I'm not sure why Lucius did that. Like, he's not stupid. I hope he... There's another very popular series with a very important and popular antagonist who, well, I'm not sure how popular he is, but a very important antagonist that also kind of turns stupid when they should have the whole plot in their hand. I hope Lucius doesn't start fallen for feints like this. Like, why would you try to interact with an anti-magic ball with anything other than your physicals, or just avoid it or keep dodging around it? I'm not sure. It wasn't the sharpest idea that Lucius ever had. And we see that the ball goes around and it begins to come around as we see that Magna declares, nice try, but nope, you can't block that with a spell. And boom, with the ever-awaited, long-awaited return of Soul Chain Deathmatch. But this isn't just any Soul Chain Deathmatch. It's anti-magic. As it said, Dark Black Flame Magic. Soul Chain Team Deathmatch. So we have a 4-way squabble here. We have the empowered anti-magic wielding Luck, tied down to an angel, tied down to Lucius, tied down to Magna. Now, I get why they very specifically went for the angel, because it's not another Lucius, and maybe those two would benefit from having each other. But I do think, just based on how many Luciuses there are, it probably was a better idea to just either A, let Magna run the ones with Lucius, because the thing is, right, there are a couple reasons why I feel like, as cool as this is, they could have played it smarter. One, there's still a bunch of angels. If what Lucius was saying is true, there are like several dozens of angels, and Luck was so easily boom, 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 like clearing through them. I think it would have been an overall better idea to keep Luck on angel clearing duty until, like, at best maybe 2 of them were left. Then initiate this when he's already low on anti-magic, because then at that point it wouldn't matter. Or 2, what you would do, you would get 2 Luciuses, or as many Luciuses as possible. Because the thing is, by sharing Luck's magic with everybody, it's going to lower the overall potency of Soul Chain Team Deathmatch. Because what made this move so good against Dante in particular is because Dante had such a high amount of magic in compared to Magna's low amount of magic. So when they equaled out, it was a much drastic drop for Dante, yet still a very high rise for Magna. But with this, you have the Angel, which should have a decent chunk of magic. You have Luck, who should probably have more magic than the Angel, plus the anti-magic stack. Then you have Lucius, who should be at the top. And then you have Magna. So the distance that everybody's traveling is going to be a whole lot shorter, and the general magic pool is going to be higher. Because remember, Luck is an elf. Sure, he's a slumbered human elf kind of thing, but he already does have insane amounts of magic on his own, plus the Angel's magic, plus Lucius' magic. Overall, Magna, while he's going to be dragging them down, it's not as much as if he went in a one-on-one with a Lucius clone, or even went two-on-one with a Lucius clone and another Lucius clone. I think ultimately this lowers the effectiveness of it. And by tying all their magic together, once again, you're taking away a very good cleaner. That's what Luck essentially is. Like, you know how you send certain things out to do certain things? Like, what's an example? For my Fire Emblem players out there, or any of my tactical RPG players, I'm really like a Fire Emblem though. Like, I have typically one unit. Let's take Fire Emblem Engage, for example. My Louis. I slap Sigurd on him, and I send him off to do things. It doesn't matter. Once he turned into a Great Knight, in the late game, it didn't matter what. If there was a chest, and I needed someone to go get that chest before the enemy could get to it, and I knew someone needed to go out there and get it, I would put Louis to the front of the party, I would activate Sigurd, I'd go all the way halfway across the map and go get that. That's a good role to play for Louis because he's bulky enough to eat any hits, he can do some damage back, and he can get there. And plus with Override, he can get over certain things that others wouldn't be able to. Luck in this case would be a perfect battlefield cleaner. Once again, he's out here one-tapping. I will not scroll that far. But he's out here one-tapping numerous angels. So maybe this was like the last angel left, then I get doing this. But even then, there are 11 Luciuses. 11 of them. Only taking out one, while it's helpful, it's not as helpful as it could be. And you're burning away Luck all for this. So while it is cool, and I get why Tabata does it, because this duo is in fact a duo that is kind of one of the, I'm not going to say one of the more iconic duos, but still one of the more relevant duos in all of Black Clover. I think the cool visual here ultimately isn't the most tactical play. But we do get to see that they mock Lucius, and they're like, hey, broski, my apologies, my fault, OG, my fault, but your partner is going to be that angel. And unfortunately, we're going to take some notes from Jujutsu Kaisen right here. As in, we are immediately jumping that boy out of existence. And they immediately slam the angel, immediately shattering it. But once again, look, Luck dives in, one-taps the angel, and Magna comes in and punches the angel out. Like, was it really necessary? Like, why would splitting the magic amongst the three of you not be better than splitting the magic amongst one of you? I can kind of see why, because maybe Lucius could just camp in the air, but like clearly Magna's able to at least somewhat propel himself. So imagine if we just had Magna being able to 1v1 Lucius properly. I think it would be cool. I think it would be cool. Though I get, once again, not only on a this is a duo kind of thing, where we do need to see the duo do one last duo thing before the series ends, because presumably this is the final fight these two are going to have, but also, we already did it with Dante. We already had the 1v1 with someone with extreme magic and someone with not so extreme magic. So we already did it. So I guess holding this on is fine enough. And giving these two this. Plus, we do have other characters who are likely going to take out a Lucius clone. Presumably, Yami's going to take out a Lucius clone. Maybe Nacht is going to take out a Lucius clone. Maybe Noelle's going to get one. Then you could... I'm not sure how Vanessa's going to do it, but you could definitely have, like, Zora pull out something to try... And obviously, Asta and Yuna are likely going to get one or two. So there are ways. But I'm just thinking, like, on a purely tactical standpoint, I think there were better ways to allocate these resources rather than just dumping them all into the Soul Chain Deathmatch stock pool. At least that's my thought. However, we do get to see that Manga reveals that, hey, now all we gotta do is beat the taste out your mouth. And they immediately leap up. And we see with the amped magic, Manga is much faster than before, but just not fast enough. As Lucius is like, weave, and immediately goes. But once again, look, you see how clean this motion is portrayed? Like, I fully understand what happens here. Magna swung and he missed, and we see Lucius coming in to capitalize on that. That is just not present here. It is simply not present here. I have no idea. Unless I'm missing a Lucius, I have no idea. I see the slightest emotion lines here. But considering how tiny the image is, I expect a little bit more Tabata. I hope you know I'm literally only sending out this critique because I could find no other critique. Like, I literally just had nothing else I could complain about, so I want to throw one complaint in there so it didn't sound like I was just glazing. But with that being the case, we do get to see that while Lucius does go in for a swing, Luck is like, nah, G, you forgot I was here? Actually, no, I think, is this even Luck in this moment? We see Magna swing. Lucius weaves, goes in for another punch, but I guess Magna just turns around. Oh, no. So this is Luck. So Luck comes in, knocks away Lucius's punch, knocks him off balance. Lucius is forced to dodge backwards, but Luck is immediately chasing as Magna goes in, turns, and lunges in after the fact. And then we see Luck immediately start to press Lucius, right? Because, like, this is just what they need to do. While Dante may have been a foolish opponent, Lucius is still a very powerful one, and thusly jumping him may be necessary in this scenario. And we see that Luck immediately goes to pressure Lucius again, but notably while specifically having Lucius face behind him, or not having Lucius face him, opposite of Magna. Am I saying is it Magna or Magna? Which one is it? I keep flipping back and forth. Once again, no, it's Magna. It's not Magna. It is Magna, not Magna. But yeah, we do have Magna come in to drag the soul chain, which is very impressive. Like, he pulls Lucius back here, and we see Lucius is unable to react properly, and he throws out, I'm not sure if this is an anti-magic fireball, an anti-magic punch. By the swing of his fist, it's not an open palm, so I'm assuming this is a little bit of both. And we see Lucius realize that, oh no, the anti-magic is getting in the way. I can't regenerate fast enough. So the anti-magic isn't actually stopping Lucius's abilities, but it is slowing them down to the point where it's basically worthless against these two. And considering they start intensely jumping him, they cause Lucius to realize, oh, wait a minute. They aren't really strong enough to take me out instantaneously, not like the angels, but they're just going to keep jumping me until it's over. But of course, like I mentioned, by doing this, they're burning through their anti-magic at a very rapid rate. And we see it's not like Luck is trying to be conservative or anything. He's very consistently making wide arcing leaps around everywhere, which once again just isn't the smartest play. You guys need all the anti-magic you can get. But we see despite all this, they are going in full force to try and press Lucius and burn him down bit by bit by bit. And I was expecting them to beat Lucius down to the point where he would, like, de-transform, fall out of his transform state. But no, he notices that they are, one, unable to make him do that, and two, they've used up half their anti-magic. And we see as Magna takes a punch and Luck swings beside him, they declare, if I'm with this guy, I'll never slow down. I'm not gonna mess around. Yeah, me neither. And we see, tickles my toes, bro, tickles my toes. It's all up in them bad boys as they openly declare, I'm not gonna mess around. Yeah, me neither. Half plus half equals full power. And they both, I do wish, I guess I can kind of see it. The thing is, anti-magic's already kind of goopy like this. I do wish that Tabata had thrown in some more, like, proper fire detailing. Like, look at how this ball. It has the basic black anti-magic flames that naturally come along with anti-magic, and also Magna's flame pattern. I do wish there was a bit of that here to signify more, because this dual anti-magic ball here, it mostly just looks like Luck and anti-magic. I don't see much Magna in here because there's none of that other type of fire, but still, this is an insanely cool visual as they charge in at full power. And admittedly, this one do look a little bit like a big ball of Dama Rasengan. Or actually, no, it reminds me of the scene of Naruto and Sasuke against, ironically enough, a infused Obito, Ten Tails Obito, when they both lunged in with their, whatever Minato called it. But with that being the case, they activate Black Flame, Black Lightning, Exploding Cannon, and you see Lucius literally get torn to pieces. And we do get the fire detail here, which is nice. We do get the beautiful fire detail here. And with Black Flame, Black Lightning, Exploding Cannon, they literally annihilate Lucius. The man is cooked. He's quite literally cooked alive. Boom. Done. Immediately destroyed. Left with nothing but a head. And we see the Luciuses watch on and realize, oh, we just lost one of me. That ain't good. And Asta naturally questions, so, which one of us has the advantage now? And we see Luck and Magna. They fist bump it up. And that is the end of chapter 369. Luck, put a shirt on. Put them things away, dog. We're in public. But with that being the case, I do think this is still kind of rough. Like, Asta, like, he's still clearly, there are still 9 others of him. Because I think there were 11, now 1 is down. So there are 10, there are still 10 Luciuses, Asta. You haven't fought yours at all. Like, don't get too confident now, Bucko. Don't get too confident now. I think Lucius still has the definitive advantage. But overall, still an amazing, amazing chapter. It has, the thing about this chapter, and the reason I think I like it so much, even in spite of what I feel like is a slightly short length for a 4-month wait, I do like how it concludes both of these characters in a sense. Because this is pretty much their final battle. This is their final showing. I like how we get to see a lot of what makes these characters beloved in the first place. Luck's love for battle and his determination and his overwhelming power and speed. I think that's fantastic. I do like the Raijin reference that's built properly into his transformation here. I do love Magna getting a call back to Soul Chain Deathmatch and evolving it with Soul Chain Team Deathmatch, giving this a duo one last final battle with each other, considering they are kind of the main duo, I'd say. Realistically, the Black Bulls in particular, outside of like Yami and Asta, so seeing them get to pop off one last time with each other is fantastic. Seeing Lucius actually struggle a bit for the first time and see him get overwhelmed is great. And even this final combo attack looks really, really cool. The art in this chapter was top tier. The character interaction with the chapter is top tier. The introduction of Ichika to the rest of the cast and crew, all that's fantastic. And I'm very, very excited to see what happens next. 4 months from now. So, if you hit it all the way to the end of this video, please leave Black Lightning in the comment section down below. I'd like to thank you guys so much for watching. Please remember to leave a like, share, comment, and subscribe. And make sure you hit that little notification bell so you do not miss out on any videos that come to the channel. Also, I do have a Patreon down below where you can support me for as little as $1 a month. Get things like exclusive videos, early content, and more. You also now become a member to the channel for as little as $3 a month to get the same perks and more. Some of those perks include the live reaction to this very chapter. Now, as I thank you guys so much for watching once again, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. This is Dagger the Pencil, writing off. I'd like to give a thank you to our $3 members, Recliner Plays, Red Wolf 4765, Greyhound, and Akid's Void. And I'd like to give another thank you to our $5 patrons, Victor, Sean, Midnight Gemlord, Kevin, Demix LND, and Igneal. And I'd like to give a chunky old thank you to our $7 member, Autumn's Morning Lazo. And I'd like to give another chunka thank you to our $10 patrons, Robbie Uchio, Joaquin, Idemokai, and China Doll 09. I'd like to give a tractor thank you to our $25 member, Alex Ice Rose. I'd like to give another giga gargantuan thank you to our $25 patron, Calvin Elder.